talk about a few Marvel video games that the world needs right now.
Yeah.
Now, I think you just sort of alluded to this thing, which is very important. Square Enix deal that was announced recently is not an exclusivity deal. There are studios all over the world working on Marvel stuff right now. So let's go through some of our favorite characters, some of the games we'd want to see, and most importantly, who we think should make them.
Sure.
So what do you think we should start with?
Probably, I think one of the most satisfying comic book-based Marvel games that we got recently was Deadpool, which was developed by High Moon Studios. That was when Activision had the rights, and I feel like they kind of just... if that had stayed in the oven for a little bit longer, it would have been an incredible game. It was still fun. It's still like a good junk food game, but it definitely wasn't as much as it could have been. The studio that picked up High Moon's other big property, which was Transformers, Platinum Games, made Transformers Devastation, which was fantastic, had a gorgeous cel-shaded look. I don't see any reason why they couldn't take Deadpool and go completely over the top. I would love to see Deadpool meets like Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance or Bayonetta. I mean, Deadpool uses swords and guns, and he jumps around, and he's very kind of combo-based, and he's also not really known for sticking too close to reality, and neither is Platinum Games. They have talking robot dogs, and God knows what.
I love that because there's a sort of level of ridiculousness that I think they embrace really, really well. Now, Platinum Games is a little hit or miss. We do see some of their games go in a direction that maybe, if you look at something like Ninja Turtles, I think there's like a good and a bad Platinum, but there's opportunity for this. I mean, the Scalebound devs just kind of got freed up on a little bit. So, I mean, we'll see where this can go. It'd be really interesting to see if like Sony had an exclusive thing with Spider-Man and then Deadpool ended up on Xbox. Who knows?
That'd be interesting. Another game that came out, not even recently, it's almost a decade at this point, but the Wolverine game that came out, I believe it's the only M-rated Marvel game that exists there, and that was I forget what devs did that, but it kind of played like God of War but with Wolverine.
It had a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, I would love to see Monolith take Wolverine and basically make Shadow Mordor, but Shadow of Weapon X, pretty much.
Because that'd be awesome.
I mean, they proved that they could do this kind of almost. That was like a small open world game, and it took a franchise with tons and tons of deep lore, Lord of the Rings. And they added magic and powers, and they made it a fun video game, but it also didn't completely upset the apple cart in terms of kind of the lore and canon they're dealing with. So Wolverine, climbing around and jumping down on
and the Nemesis system, like having something like that, which is like when that game first came out, when Mordor first came out, we were like, here's all the games that should use it. All these games are going to take advantage of it now, and no one's really done anything with it. So I think like him running around the sort of like Canadian wilderness and getting into fights with like feds and cops and mutants, like.
Or send him to like Madripoor, Genosha. That'd be great. And again, of course, we're kind of erring on the side of the wish list side of things because Wolverine is still Fox more than Marvel, so I don't know where that lies. Now, Spider-Man is being developed by Insomniac. Everyone was thinking it was going to be Sucker Punch because they have that pedigree of doing the Insomniac games, or not Insomniac, Infamous games, which are pretty much, they're superhero games. You jump around a city.
But they're also super villain games.
Yeah,
which is why I really
there's
like
that
them.
morality system.
You have that option to play them as evil, which is how I played Infamous, the third one, my second time around. Really fun, really gorgeous game that sort of just like let you fly around a city. So why not take that and couple it with somebody like Venom? Now, Venom is awesome. Venom is part of one of my favorite, just very hokey, very stupid comic book arcs ever, which is Maximum Carnage, where Carnage, Venom, and Spider-Man are just in this gigantic war all over New York City. All of their weird, gross, like space juice is getting all up in everybody, and
it looks like a Gushers commercial. It's just real gross.
So, and I love the idea of how fast and how quickly these characters can scale up a building, their powers, their ability to just sort of flip cop cars. In Infamous, you do see things like sort of digging into the ground and spikes coming up, and doing all of that with alien symbiote powers would be totally awesome. Carnage is like the kind of thing, a kind of character that like you could never animate a long time ago. Like there's just no good way to do it on, say, something like the Dreamcast or the N64. But nowadays,
everything's all gooey and disgusting. I mean, we got Prototype, which is effectively an alien symbiote game.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I think that Sucker Punch would be fantastic at this, specifically because of the morality system. Because Venom has always been kind of he's a lethal enforcer. He's like Spider-Man, but he kills people. He's sort of a good bad guy, anti-hero. That said, these are all kind of like the dark, grittier characters in Marvel, but there's a lot of different range to Marvel superheroes. One character who's kind of become weirdly popular in recent years for quirky reasons is Squirrel Girl, who can talk to squirrels. Why is that a thing? I don't know, but it's great. I would love to see a sillier studio like Double Fine play with that. I think Double Fine typically doesn't do much in the way of licensed games, but how cool would it be to see like a cute little kind of point-and-click adventure game where you're like, fighting crime and fighting like D-list Marvel villains with squirrels.
Sure, or even going with the sort of Psychonauts action platformer.
That'd be great.
Type of notion. That'd be really cool. I like that idea a lot.
I mean, it's cool to see like the big kind of the A-list Marvel heroes, you know, be like, oh, we're gonna pair the guys who make Tomb Raider with, you know, the Avengers. These are like the biggest things in the world. But like, let's take kind of smaller, weirder stuff. Like, you know, this would be really interesting to see that. I mean, I think that Telltale and Guardians of the Galaxy are kind of made for each other in that sense. On that note, another one, a character who's kind of become more popular recently is Miss Marvel, the Kamala Khan version. I would love to see the guys who did Life is Strange, Don't Nod, play with that. They also, of course, did Remember Me, which is an action game, and now they're currently working on Vampire, which is like all about the choices you make. But they've proven that they can make kind of a story-based game, and they can also make an action game where you're doing kind of more bizarre stuff. But as far as the basic like, here's a story about a teenage girl with superpowers, they've kind of proven they could do that. And Miss Marvel would be fantastic for that. But, in the meantime, if you want a Miss Marvel game, you can always just go on tumblr.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those, man. I really wish we would get all these games.
Yeah.
We actually got a tweet from Gonzo7792. That's Eddie Brock on Twitter, ironically. And he says, Punisher game made by IO Interactive. I would actually really like that.
Oh, man.
So like that's
just a Hitman game where you just get loud.
To get into it real quick, you and I, neither you nor I are like huge fans of the Punisher as a character. I think he's just sort of like just this gruff, angry dude. But that's the way most video games work. So I think he'd be kind of perfect for that.
Yeah, Punisher makes sense as a first-person shooter.
Totally.
Straight up.
Yeah.
What about the Arcane guys doing a Daredevil game?
Oh, dude.
Like where you're just doing ninja stuff, but it's like Dishonored,
Use the hashtag up at noon. Tweet us your Marvel video game studio pair-ups. I really like that one. That'd be awesome. What do you think Nintendo would do?
I don't know, man.
That's a tough one, right?
I don't think Nintendo and Marvel are going to mash up anytime soon.
It'd be so nice.
It's kind of a weird stretch.
Maybe what if they did like Marvel Land, like Nintendo Land, and you could go on rides?
I don't know how I feel about that. It's kind of strange.